I was in a place called Silchar. You may be aware of Silchar. It's east of Agartala, and it's got a Second World War runway and short runway. So not much of fighter activity could take place, but it was basically a transport and a helicopter base. Plus the activities in Nagaland, Mizoram and Agartala for civil government help, plus Army, Navy, Army, Air Force, BSF. So we have a squadron there, helicopter squadron. I was part of it. And you must have heard of General Sagat Singh. The Bengalis worship him as the father of the nation, actually, next to Mujib. Why? Because he disobeyed certain orders to reach Dhaka. That is, when he crossed Meghna river and reached Dhaka, that was actually the turning point in the entire war. Okay. So we were operating for him and flying. My story would start not from the beginning, but from the day the refugees started walking into India from across the border. Those days there was just religion but no fight. So East Bengal, Assam, West Bengal all were together as one single piece, and it was comfortable. Then for some reason the English rulers separated Assam and Bengal. Then the partition took place, East Bengal and West Bengal. They were together irrespective of the religion and the belief and other things. But when a situation like this occurred, like Pakistani occupied forces started misbehaving with the Bengali culture, Bengali people, Bengali library and things like that, Mujibur Rahman, great guy he gave a kind of a freedom call. Then they become worse. When they became worse, started killing people, started testing. I mean, that they could not take anywhere. As it is, they were living in a kind of a penury, not comfortably. So they started moving into, wherever they were, they just moved into India, whether it was the eastern border or western border. I was in the eastern border, and Silchar is from Karimganj is not very far. So they landed up in Karimganj overnight in hundreds and millions. So our job started that time, because the civil persons, what they do is, when they can't control anything, they request the army to, because army has got a elaborate network and capabilities. So a refugee camp was made in Karimganj, and they were settled down, and then there was one in Agartala, down Agartala, like that, Belonia and places. So we were settling them down, and what the problem is, they were not just themselves who were coming. Because of the various travels by road and lack of food and amenities, they brought a lot of epidemics along. They brought typhoid, cholera and things like that, which became more worrisome for the civil rulers, the civil government. So they again approached the army and services. Then they started looking after. Month plus, everything settled. Now that they are getting food and shelter, they said, let us earn some money. So the people started trying to work. Then it was interfering with the local people. So the problem became acute. This is a time when Madam Indira Gandhi, that time she was the Prime Minister, said 1, 2, 10 we can feed, but not in millions. So she was asking diplomatically the neighbors, please take them back. And they were waiting for the persons to go away. They said, no, we will not. Let them, they come to you. And you have given them refuge, you continue to refuse. So this is the status quo in the previous months of the war. It happened till August. Then the rain started, it became worse again. The epidemic started all over. And you know the famous discussion between Manekshaw and this thing. They said they must push and let us start some offensive. Manekshaw said, have some patience, let the rain stop, let the winters come. The rivers in Bangladesh are under control. Chinese cannot come through northern hills because it is snow clad, then we will be able to do something. She said, okay, so waited. And Pakistan, with the connivance of USA and UK, they started troubling again. And somewhere in December beginning, they attacked the western. They thought India is going to attack, let us do a preemptive attack. So they attacked the western air bases. We have western air bases all continuously one below the other. The moment they attacked, they were asking for trouble. India is a peaceful country. But when someone troubles you, fingers you, they say, no, we cannot take this fingering, we will fight back. So they gave offensive back. And this was the thing we were waiting. One day they came and attacked Kalekonda Air Force. Kalekonda is Barakpur, South Medinapur district. And when they did it and we lost a few aeroplanes, then they said full-fledged war now that has to take place. See, India got into an offensive role. We were with General Sagat Singh, I told you, and Sagat Singh was one of the greatest strategists in the army. Unfortunately, he didn't get his further promotion. He was famous in Goa. He was the one who liberated Goa. He was the one who fought with Chinese without anyone's intervention and told them, if you attack again, it will be worse. And third chance the army gave him was in Dhaka, and he was only told, do not do any offensive. You are coming from southeast, from Belonia, Agartala and Silchar area. Don't do anything which is going to be, because our offensive, that is Indian offensive, is going to be from the northwest, from Jasur, from Siliguri. But he said he had his own ideas and he used the helicopter. This is where the helicopters come. I fly the helicopters, my squadron was flying the helicopters. Our command gave him 2 helicopters. Then he said, I want more. So they gave him 3 helicopters. Then what happened? When the fight started, army, normally what happens, they have the engineers. When they have to cross the river, they build bridge, cross over, dismantle the bridge, take them along further. He said, why are you wasting so much of time? I have helicopters. You will take 1 full day for crossing this river. The helicopter takes 1 minute. That means you are saving 23 hours and 59 seconds. So he said, let's use. He knew the helicopter, he knew the terrain, he knew this thing. So he made use of the helicopter comfortably. Now enters, there was a gentleman called, he retired as AVM, Air Vice Marshal, Group Captain Chandan Singh. Chandan Singh is an old bandicoot who fought 62 war. He is a transport pilot. He was a Kilo Force in charge. You know what's a Kilo Force? No? No. Kilo Force is the basis of the Bangladesh Air Force. They gave Bangladesh people 1 Dakota, 1 Otter and 1 Chetak, the Halvet helicopter. They trained them there, and the trained pilots who migrated from Pakistan Air Force or Army into India, they were trained and they became the thing. And Otter attack on Chittagong is very famous, very So these guys, this gentleman, Sagat Singh and Chandan Singh, they are both Rajputs. They clicked very well. They started planning. Now Sagat Singh said, let us attack Sylhet, offensive. So they asked permission from the command. They said, we want to use the helicopter for, other than, helicopters are non-offensive, only for casualty evacuation and essential supplies to the troops in the forward area. We don't do anything beyond that. We are not supposed to do as per the government order which is given. They said, they told the command, we will carry people, troops across the river and nalas, and it will make our movement faster. Unfortunately, the attack took place, but what happened, we could not take over Sylhet because Pakistanis went into Sylhet garrison and sat tight. So what happened? After one day, we sieged them. We went around them, but we did not try. They said, you be inside. So long as you don't trouble us, we are happy. So they experienced this helicopter, what it could do by way of transporting. Overnight, we carried 5,000 people. We carried some 500 kgs. So they said, this helicopter can do wonders. And we had the professionalism. We knew we flew. Dark night we flew without any essential. Only ground required, there was no offensive flying. Pakistan fighters could not attack because we had total air superiority. Now they said, so long as the ground, army assures us that it is our area. Our area means we have taken over that area, we will land. So we did it. So we were successful in that. Overnight we carried this many. Now their trial, their experiment using the helicopter for transporting troops was successful. Now he was getting bigger ideas. He says, let's cross Meghna river and approach Dhaka. Army told him, you are not to do any offense, do not cross Meghna, you be there only. He told them, I know what I am doing, I am in the field, you are not in the field, I am crossing. So he actually disobeyed. And one day we brought more helicopters from other units, and we flew morning, night and next morning continuously because we were rotating. We stayed in the field like the infantry soldiers, maintained there, we slept there. In turns we flew, and we were successful in crossing a battalion, a guards battalion, across the Meghna, and they crossed over. Now 3-4 things happened in Dhaka. Though they were not successful, the northwest offensive, they were just waiting for somebody to sleep and then they would come to Dhaka. Initially, the plan was to take as much of space as possible so that we have a bargaining power. But General Sagat Singh said, we will not do that, we will take over entire Bangladesh, we will take over Dhaka, then it will come. Now 3 things happened. One is we crossed over, the ground troops were waiting, and Tangail airdrop took over. You must have heard of Tangail airdrop. Tangail airdrop took over, they had landed up on the peripheries of Dhaka and waiting. And one more thing happened was, the fighters came and attacked the Pakistan headquarters. Pakistanis were, naturally they are clever, they moved into Red Cross headquarters. And when we came to know the Red Cross headquarters, they went and attacked, the Red Cross attacked. Then what happened? The governor of East Pakistan, the commander Niazi, and they were all in Red Cross thing and governor's building. We have the pilot here. He and one more pilot, they went and attacked the governor's bungalow. The moment the governor's bungalow was attacked, there was chaos in that thing. Now we have to understand one more thing. Why were they not immediately surrendering? Because they expected United Nations to interfere and declare a ceasefire like that happens in J&K. But somehow because of veto power of USSR, it did not happen, because we had a friendship pact with USSR. Then USA was threatening us with 7th Fleet. Indian Navy was very clear, we are very small, but we will not let you enter Bay of Bengal. They said, they thought they will come by submarine and take over. UK and US said they were trying to do the submarine, but suddenly they found USSR, Russian submarine coming up and saying, if you don't go, we will shoot you. So they went back and went to Indian Ocean, but not West Bengal. That means we were safe from this side, we were safe from this side. It was the threatening basis for Niazi. Now he said, okay, He said, okay, but he sent a message to Yahya Khan, I am surrendering and I want to do. Yahya Khan said, hold on till UN declares ceasefire. But in the meanwhile, Sam Manekshaw and Jacob got together, General Jacob got together. General Jacob met Niazi personally and told him, please understand, 7th Fleet cannot come, UN will not do ceasefire. If you don't surrender, we will hand you over to the local Bengalis. Because you have killed them, because you have troubled them, they will kill you back. If you want that, is fine. If you surrender to the Indian forces, we will treat you with Geneva Conventions, what the Red Cross and the World Convention. You will all be safe. If you like it, it's fine. He said yes, but he did not do it. He again sent a message to his president, Yahya Khan, do something fast because we are not doing this. Then they said, no, we will try and do this. Then Sam Manekshaw came and said again, he announced, we dropped leaflets, we dropped broadcast and said, if you don't do it, we are going to go offensive and attack you on the, wherever you are, aerial attack. Do what you want to do. They said, okay. Now, this happened on 15th. They were ready, they were mentally ready for 15th, but they were haggling for time. Somehow we wanted Niazi to surrender total, unconditional surrender. But Niazi said, I want this, I want this, I want this. They said, nothing doing. You surrender with all your fully armed personnel, semi-armed personnel and Rajakars. All will have to surrender. So 93,000 people finally surrendered. And because of this requirement that we wanted his signature somehow, we threatened them. So when he said, I am ready, they quickly called him. In the Second World War, the surrender took place in a 5-star hotel. Second surrender took place on board a ship. They went to Ramna Racecourse where Mujibur Rahman gave that lecture. On that spot, they picked up 2 tables, put no tablecloth. They put 2 chairs and sit and said, sign. As helicopter pilot, we were flying all over. We got a chance. You may go. The army was saying, you go. Because you have been with us, we will give you privilege to come and see the surrender. That is how I also landed up in Dhaka. My squadron was, entire squadron was there. Ramna Racecourse, Dhaka was going mad because of this news that surrender. But the threat was there. The Pakistani soldiers still had the arms and we had some pro-Pakistani elements also. So India took a gamble and we survived the gamble. The moment he surrendered, they were de-armed. Some people didn't give the arms, that's a story later. They were de-armed and decided that you will all go into prisoner of war camp. Niazi was kept in the same place, headquarters, for 1 full day. Then after that he was shifted out of this thing. And that is the story of the surrender. Now you must have learnt from him that I am in that photograph. History. No, I will tell you how I got into the photograph. Yes. I had a camera. I was taking photographs. But you know, winter mein, Dhaka sunset is around 5 o'clock. And Dhaka time is half an hour ahead of Indian Standard Time. We were so used to India, we didn't realize. So it was fixed for 5 o'clock and it took time and finally it was signed around 5:15 or so. Okay, my camera, my flash did not work because those days the bulb flash was there. So now I gave up the camera and I said, let me read at least what is in that document. That is how I went behind and got into the thing. And this was not a room. My grandfather asked me, why did you go into the room? When the seniors are this thing, I said, no, there was no room. It was open area. And anything could have happened that time because Pakistani soldiers were there. Mukti Bahini was floating around. Local Bengalis were running around in jumping. And Indian Air Force was unarmed. Air Force doesn't carry arms. The army soldiers carry arms. officers carry pistol, we don't carry anything. So there was danger, but luckily nothing happened. The army controlled it beautifully, and that is how this took place. And the surrender, so to say, was known to the next day to the entire world, that the Pakistani soldiers in the East Pakistan have surrendered 93,000. So these days we have T20 ODI cricket, no? So I put it as India won the war with one innings and 93,000 runs. So that is the story we had. Now you know how I was, where it's not I alone fought the thing, we have squadron. We were 20, 30 people, pilots, all young, 22, 23, 24.
But you were so lucky.
Not only lucky, we didn't know what is fear. हमको बच्चों लोगों को कहाँ डर था. We were in Josh only. So when we flew, the dark night, we can't see anything outside. That helicopter was not night flight capabilities, it has only day flight capabilities. So we had handicap in the form of helicopter, in the form of dark night. But no accident, no incident took place. And the maintenance people who were with us and us, we worked together and kept on cleaning, because it was the grass used to go into the engine, and we used to come and pull it ourselves so that it doesn't catch fire or it doesn't block the oil pipeline or fuel pipeline. So the helicopter was looked after by the maintenance people. We flew what we wanted, and Sagat Singh and Chandan Singh made use of our capabilities, professionalism, and what we could do, and they extracted little more. When you see an intelligent boy, you say not just 80%, get 90%. So like that, they extracted 90% out of us, and we were comfortable. So this is the story of the helicopter in short. There is going to be a book coming out very soon on the Mi-4 helicopters employed in the war, deployed in the war.